Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us for the midday news on Camnet TV. My name is Marco Kwakozi. The headlines. PF presidential hopeful Emmanuel Mamba arrested. 15-year-old grade 9 pupil of Lusaka's Kanyama compound defiled and impregnated. In international news, Kenya's Shakahola count deaths climbed to 303. In sports news, Zambia's Special Olympic national team leaves for Germany. For details of these and other stories, join us shortly after this break.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back, and now the news in detail. Two former pupils of Highland Secondary School in Lusaka's Kabanana site and service area are seeking for help to sustain their business, which runs from drying apples and pineapples into crunch-finished products. Daliso Mwemba and Stephen Sichirima, 18 years of age, run a company called Pambana, which makes apples, pineapples, and bananas into crunch-finished products such as marmalade jam and peanut butter. The duo completed school last year and are in need of machinery to boost their production so as to reach the demand of their customers. Here's a report.
Yes, so this is how you must look here. Then we have two types of apples. We have sour apples and sweet apples. So if you want to make them, these are sweet, they are naturally sweet. So if you want them to be sweet, you can dry them the way they are. But if you want them to be sour.
In the busy Kabanana site and service area of Lusaka, two young entrepreneurs have set their eyes beyond the white-collar jobs. The former pupils of Highland Secondary School, Member and Stephen Sichilima, have set out to transform ordinary fruits into extraordinary delights through their business venture called Pambana. The duo, who are 18 years old, have chosen not to be constrained by limited opportunities as they strive to become architects of their own destiny through their unwavering dedication to value addition.
So we have dry fruits, we have marmalade jam, we have peanut butter, and we have a mixture of both. And so that's that. And then we also dry them using the sun.
Natural orange and lemon. So lemon is the one that acts as a preservative for our marmalade jam. Then for our peanut butter, we have no additional sugar. We have most of the people that make peanut butter, they add some sugar, some sweetener in them, and some preservative, but ours is natural. Then for our dried fruits, we have these packages that are airtight, so that we can have air going in and forming moisture. So that's the reason why we picked these packages, for them to be, for us to prevent air from going in there, so that they can form moisture.
With ambitions to major into the fields of computer science and economics and statistics, Daliso and Stephen are the two pioneers who have turned their attention to the art of drying apples, pineapples, and bananas, converting them into delectable, crunchy finished products. Their entrepreneurial skills also extend to crafting marmalade jam and peanut butter as part of their culinary talents. While in Zambia, promoting value addition and creativity among youths is an important aspect of the government's agenda for economic growth and development, the two innovators are appealing for support to help stabilize their business and meet the demand from their customers.
We don't have any equipment, so we just use, most of the procedures are done by hand. And then for the peanut, we just take to people who have machines and they make it for us. Then we brand it. Then for the dry fruits, we cut them ourselves and dry them ourselves. until the package.
What would need funds. Right now, the challenges we're having is production and finding the suitable market for our product. So right now, what we might need is maybe a peanut maker, a dehydrator, and boilers to make our marmalade jam. I think that's what we would need to grow our business.
School Business Studies Department teacher Joyce Molimbika says the initiative of Dadiso and Stephen demonstrates the essence of education extending beyond the confines of traditional learning.
They are drying the fruits and even making jam and peanut butter. This is an inspiration to the pupils out there because they are actually practicing what we're teaching them in class. And it gives us so much hope that the future is so bright because the financial literacy and entrepreneurship in our children is being put.
As government encourages youth engagement in innovation and value addition, the two hope to expand their business and employ fellow youths. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
A 15-year-old grade 9 pupil of Lusaka's Kanyama compound has been defiled and impregnated by her boyfriend, who is in his 20s. The victim, who is 5 months pregnant, has narrated to Camnet News that her boyfriend, whom she identified as William, manipulated her into dating him on the pretext that he was going to buy her a brand new smartphone. The victim laments that the suspect allegedly had carnal knowledge with her on several occasions and has denied the responsibility. She has further disclosed that she has been forced to drop out of school and her mother has since chased her from home.
In trying to acquaint herself in the digital world, this 15-year-old girl of Lusaka's Kanyama compound has been defiled and impregnated by a boyfriend who is said to be in his 20s. Narrating a predicament, Messi Tembo, not a real name, alleges that her boyfriend, whom she identified as William, convinced her into dating him on pretext that he was going to buy her a brand new smartphone. She's 5 months pregnant and the man has denied the responsibility. The victim, who is currently in a secondary level in grade 9, disclosed that she has been forced to drop out of school and alleges that her mother has since chased her from the house. Unasiya kwenda school?
Nasiya last week.
Utanchila ningisa back to see wenda school?
Alaka kulipa ndola school fees.
Bandana wanakana kulipia? Why wanakana kulipia ndola school fees?
Atika imamu na zafika palimba, fuma pamisa naye, so akana kamisa naye. Fama mtanzile, amunga futu wanyopishi. Sempefa kutandizo.
By broadcast time, effort to get through the suspect proved futile, as well as getting a comment from the victim's mother as she was at Soweto Market, where she trades from. Concerned Citizen for Justice and Human Rights, where the teenager went to seek for assistance, says they are going to take up the matter and ensure that the suspect is brought to book.
As an organization, we are taking it up from here up to the police so that we see how best the child can be helped, and also we see how the police also they can handle the situation, and also want to engage other stakeholders so that we can find a shelter for the kids now. So that is the steps that we are taking as an organization.
Meanwhile, Advocates for Child Justice has reminded parents whose children have been victims of abuse to play their part and ensure their safety.
The law is there for us to implement. The law enforcement agencies must, step in and make sure that the law that we recently enacted as a country should come to, to rescue children. It is meant to strengthen, child protection in Zambia, and that it means that we need to make sure that it is actually enforced. So, and parents also, for those that are actually inflicting more pain on children who are supposed to be defended, must also be advised that they also have a responsibility the law also gives mandate or gives responsibility to parents. And those are responsibilities of the parents, and that they make sure that children that are victims of child defilement are protected, and not for parents also to inflict pain by chasing children.
Cases of defilement and child abuse have increased in Zambia. There is a need, therefore, for parents and caregivers, community leaders and church to act quickly and address issues of child defilement by making their homes safe. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The National Water Supply and Sanitation Council, NWASCO, has cautioned members of the general public against vandalizing water installations. NWASCO Public Relations Manager Mpunga Simukwai tells Camnet News that acts of vandalism undermine the attainment of Sustainable Development Goal number 6 on ensuring inclusive access to water and sanitation. She has since urged citizens to be reporting those suspected to be damaging water infrastructure. Here's a report.
Acts of vandalism are a hindrance to the attainment of Sustainable Development Goal number 6, which is focusing on tackling water and sanitation issues. This is because the vice reduces the gains being made to improve the provision of water and sanitation services. Destruction to public infrastructure by some members of the general public tends to affect the larger community. It must be noted that in various communities, including Lusaka's Kanyama compound, acts of vandalism continue to annoy members of the general public. Just like other utilities, the Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company has been a victim and continues to make relentless calls to members of the public to protect water infrastructure. And the 2022 National Water Supply and Sanitation Council, NWASCO Urban and Peri-Urban Water Supply and Sanitation Sector Report demonstrates that vandalism is still among challenges affecting utilities. We spoke to the Zambia Water Forum and Exhibition Chairperson, Professor Emasi Kunyambe, who stated that vandalism undermines the provision of water and sanitation services in the country.
As Zawafe, we take pride in making sure that all our water infrastructure and system are well maintained. But going forward, the important part is to have a change of mindset by our communities, by our individuals and citizens.
Mpunga Simukwai is National Water Supply and Sanitation Council Public Relations Manager.
As NWASCO as a regulator, we are now pushing towards Vision 2030 and Sustainable Development Goal number 6 on the need to accelerate access to clean and safe drinking water for all as a country. You know that we've previously focused on the urban, peri-urban, but now we are reaching the rural parts of the country. So we'd like to appeal to consumers everywhere, not just in Lusaka, all parts of the country, to guard water and sanitation infrastructure jealously. Because like we've mentioned, it's not just a cliche, water is life, and we all must play a part to ensure that the water and sanitation infrastructure is guarded jealously.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Police in Lusaka have apprehended Opposition Patriotic Front presidential hopeful Emmanuel Mwamba for an undisclosed offense. Lawyer Jonas Zimba confirmed the development to Camnet News. Counsel Zimba says Mwamba was apprehended between 16 and 17 hours but could not give further details. Meanwhile, efforts to get a comment from the Police Public Relations Unit proved futile by broadcast time. Mr. Mwamba has been vocal on governance issues in a quest to provide checks and balances to the governing United Party for National Development UPND administration. Council police officers from the Lusaka City Council Wednesday afternoon brought down private structures in New Kasama area to pave way for construction of feeder roads. A Camnet news crew that rushed to the scene found the council grader bringing down a wall fence in the area, with the council police keeping vigil. The move has left most victims in shock, and new Congress party leader Peter Chanda has questioned the Road Development Agency for authorizing the road works on private property. Here's a report. These are officers from the Lusaka City Council who this afternoon mercilessly brought down structures for residents in Lusaka's New Kasama area to pave way for construction of a road. The actions left most residents here surprised, as they claimed there was enough space to put up a road without bringing down any structures. Some were left running around trying to stop a water leakage that was caused by the demolition. Lawyer to one of the victims, Charles Changano, has expressed sadness at the decision by the Road Development Agency, RDA, to bring down structures without considering the resources that the residents put in. He observes that there are a lot of people in Lusaka who have built structures on road reserves but have not had their structures brought down.
The council should have considered, because if you look at this road from Community House, from the beginning there is no distraction from those people who have built within that same road. But when they reached here, they decided to divert the road, to make it wide. This is very, very unfortunate if we live like this. People must have sympathy with those people who have spent money.
Councillor Changano, however, acknowledges that there was notice given to the residents before the actions were taken. Did the council communicate to the victims before they?
Yes, they have communicated. In fact, it's RDA. They have communicated, but we failed to reach a conclusion. The question was, why did they allow an individual to build? Yes, leaving the interest of the people which they considered were important. So, being an investor, being a well-known person, we may assume there is something beyond what they are doing.
And new Congress party leader Peter Chanda, who has been advocating for the structures to be spared, bemoaned the move and urged RDA to respect people's properties. He says there was enough space to put up a road, but wondered why the RDA had to bring down people's properties.
Well, as new Congress party, we informed the nation on the desire and the quest by the Lusaka City Council and the Road Development Agency to destroy a Lusaka businessman's property. Today they've done it. This is a place where apartments have been rented out, and they came abruptly without giving a notice to the owner of the land. Is this the justice that the Zambian people voted for? Do we have a government in place that has a duty to safeguard and secure the interests of the citizens? You have seen that even where they are breaking, there is a lot of space here. And the rationale behind breaking the offense right there is not seen.
Mr. Chanda, who once wrote to the Road Development Agency seeking clarity on the road construction in the area, says it was unfortunate that before they could respond to his query, they went ahead to bring down structures in the area.
I have written to RDA, they've not given us a response. We have called on the council to explain when the plans were being done. There has been no explanation from the council up to date. Is this the justice that we are talking about? We believe when political leaders are ushered into office, like the Zambian people voted for the New Dawn administration, the duty was to dispense justice. Now, is this justice when injustice is being done? It's been done when injustice is being done to an innocent businessman.
Reporting for Camnet News, my name is Marco Kwakozi in Lusaka. The Lusaka Magistrate Court has issued a bench warrant against former President Edgar Lungu's political advisor Kaiza Zulu for failure to appear in court. Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya issued the bench warrant following the absence of the accused without any reason. The court has observed that Mr. Zulu, who is expected to open his defense, has on three consecutive occasions failed to appear in court. This is in a matter in which Mr. Zulu is charged with 2 counts of failure to surrender his diplomatic passport and to appear before the nearest immigration officer when he was on a trip outside Zambia. Here's a report.
The Lusaka's Magistrate Court has issued a bench warrant against former presidential political advisor in the Patriotic Front administration, Kaiza Zulu, for failure to appear in court. Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya has ordered that the bench warrant be returnable on the 21st of June 2023. This follows the continuous absence of Mr. Zulu in court, where he is scheduled to open his defense in the case he's accused of failing to surrender his diplomatic passport. The court has observed that Mr. Zulu was not present before court on the 26th of May and 9 June 2023. Before issuing the bench warrant, the magistrate ordered for his surety to explain to the court why the accused was not in court to open his defense. However, State Prosecutor Frederick Nzama informs the court that the sureties were not present too. In a ruling, Magistrate Munyinya said she was left with no option but to order for the arrest of Mr. Zulu, as she will not entertain the accused action. The former political advisor standing trial on charges bordering on failure to appear before a nearest immigration officer and failing to surrender a diplomatic passport. In the first count, allegations are that Mr. Zulu failed to appear before the nearest immigration officer on the 9th of December 2022. While in the second count, the state accuses him of failing to surrender his diplomatic passport when required to do so by the Chief Passport and Citizenship Officer upon ceasing being a diplomat on the 20th of December 2019. He was previously found with a case to answer by Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya and placed on his defense. However, he is yet to give the court his version of the story. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Minister of Commerce and Trade, Chippo Kamlenga, says the investment portfolio between the Czech Republic and Zambia have been unfavorable in the last 5 years. The minister says Zambia's export to the Czech Republic in the last 5 years were valued at $138.5 United States dollars, while imports were valued at $15.5 million United States dollars. Mr. Mulenga, who spoke at the Zambia Czech Republic Business Forum held in Lusaka Wednesday, says he is optimistic that the business forum will not just be an event on the calendar, but culminate into positive trade agreements. Meanwhile, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Czech Republic, Jan Lipavsky, says companies from his country are looking for partners and customers in the area of health and pharmaceutical, education, technology, and other sectors. We have more in the following report.
In a quest for Zambia to attract investment as well as fulfill its desires of being an export-dependent country, Zambia and Czech Republic have held a business forum in Lusaka to see how best the two countries can increase investments. According to data obtained from the Zambia Development Agency, Zambia's exports to Czech Republic in the last 5 years were valued at $138.5 United States dollars, while imports were valued at $15.5 million United States dollars. These figures have not impressed the Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Chippo Kamlenga, who has challenged the participants at the forum to make the event count by closing business deals and investing more in the Zambian economy.
Imports from Czech into Zambia. This is not a very good portfolio that the two countries have continued to do. We are very optimistic that with this business forum, we can increase our trade portfolio between the two countries in excess of $1 billion. It's for this cause that I'm very optimistic that after hearing you mentioning investors, business personnel, industry leaders in agriculture and agro-processing, in health and pharmaceuticals, in automobile and other facilities that they can come and set up in this country. Thank God that we've been blessed and endowed with these resources, but we are looking for partners that have got the skill, that have got the resources and the ability to transform this into finished material.
Meanwhile, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Czech Republic says his delegation has come with experts in various fields who have come to explore possibilities of investing in Zambia.
We also brought a representative of the Association of Manufacturers and Suppliers of Medical Devices, whose members are more than 100 companies covering virtually the whole spectrum of medical services and offering comprehensive medical solutions for any needs, with many of them operating in African countries. You might have heard about the company Linet, the world's biggest producer of hospital beds, or DCE, that specializes in developing top quality devices for neonatology. We have here VS Vergeřovice, a company with more than a half of century of tradition. It provides comprehensive nutrition for all categories of farm animals with its modern technological processes.
The business forum has since been closed, while the Zambia Development Agency will continue to monitor investment opportunities that will be as a result of the forum. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Minister of Education Douglas Siakalima has announced that the partial reopening of Kapiri Girls Technical Boarding School, which was indefinitely closed due to continuous infernos experienced at the school. Speaking during a press briefing in Lusaka, Mr. Siakalima says the school will be reopened on the 19th of June 2023 and will only cater for pupils in examination classes. The minister explains that although the school suffered damages worth over 300,000 kwacha caused by the fires, not all the dormitories were gutted. Mr. Siakalima has further directed the grades 9s and 12s to report to their school on Sunday, the 18th of June 2023 without fail.
To their school on Sunday, 18th June 2023 without fail. This measure is meant to ensure that these pupils don't fall way behind in their lesson schedules. You may wish to know that a preliminary report has been submitted, but investigations are still ongoing. In the meantime, I would like to assure parents, Kapiri girls learners and the general public of maximum security provided by the Zambia Police. As soon as investigations and renovations are concluded, we will facilitate for the remaining grades to join their fellow learners.
What we did is that the provincial education officer in Kabwe, they made an assessment together with the school to just arrive at what was lost by the children, that is personal effects, and those all are going to be replaced. And then on top of that, we have also bought mattresses for all for both dormitories. So they'll all receive brand new mattresses and they've all been bought.
On that note, we break for some commercials. We have more news in international and sports. Don't go away.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Television, not just another channel.
It's time! Camnet TV brings to you an exciting kids show called My Creation. Join me, Sarah Chandamanga, as I get to interact with kids with special skills and talents between the age range of 9 to 17. This show will come to you every Saturday at 13:30 on Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back, and now in international news, the number of people who died after a Kenyan pastor ordered his followers to starve to death in order to meet Jesus has surpassed 300. Authorities said this Tuesday, warning that the death toll is expected to rise as more exhumations are planned. The death toll increased to 303 after 19 more bodies were recovered from mass graves in the vast forested land in Kilifi County of the coastal Kenya, where Pastor Paul Mackenzie and his followers lived. Coastal Regional Commissioner Rhoda Onyanta said that 613 people tied to the area are missing. On Monday, 65 of the 95 parishioners who authorized said they rescued from the property were charged with attempting suicide after they staged a hunger strike to protest being held at a shelter. They were moved to a jail. For a roundup of this and other stories, we monitored African News.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump denounced the political persecution after pleading not guilty to dozens of criminal counts in a court in Florida. In a historic first court appearance as a federal defendant, Trump is accused of mishandling some of the U.S. government's most sensitive secrets and scheming to prevent their return.
More importantly, it's a political persecution like something straight out of a fascist or a communist nation. As president, the law that applies to this case is not the Espionage Act, but very simply the Presidential Records Act, which is not even mentioned in this ridiculous 44-page indictment. Under the Presidential Records Act, which is civil, not criminal, I had every right to have these documents.
Donald Trump is the favorite candidate to fight next year's presidential election for the Republicans. The U.S. government, which has never before prosecuted the former president, accuses Trump of violating the Espionage Act.
The number of people who died after a Kenyan pastor ordered his followers to starve to death in order to meet Jesus has surpassed 300. Authorities said this Tuesday, warning that the death toll is expected to rise higher as more exhumations are planned. The death toll increased to 303 after 19 more bodies were recovered from mass graves in the vast forested land in Kilifi County of coastal Kenya, where Pastor Paul Mackenzie and his followers lived. Coastal Regional Commissioner Rhoda Onyanta said that 613 people tied to the area remain missing. On Monday, 65 of the 95 parishioners, whom authorities said they rescued from the property, were charged with attempting suicide after they staged a hunger strike to protest being held at a shelter. In April, police went to Pastor Mackenzie's property after investigations received a tip that dozens of people were starving to death after their pastor told them it was a way to meet Jesus. Kenyan President William Ruto has likened Mackenzie to a terrorist.
After completing their last round of training, the second batch of South African firefighters will head to Canada to battle wildfires. Nearly 17,800 square miles of forest have burned since the beginning of the year, well above previous averages. Prime Minister Trudeau admitted Canada's resources were stretched. South Africa is one of many nations coming to Canada's aid.
The South African government and Canada has got a memorandum of understanding to assist each other in case of emergency regarding veld and forest fires. Canada currently is experiencing the worst fire season ever, and they requested assistance from the Working on Fire program, which is an expanded public work program funded by the South African government.
The 200 South African firefighters will leave for Edmonton, Western Canada on Wednesday. They are from Working on Fire, an organization funded by South Africa's Environment Ministry.
So it will be a great pleasure to represent my country, and it will always be an opportunity just for everyone to see that I'm that woman. I'm on that 25% women that are representing our country here there at Canada. And we are ready to work hard and also to keep an end to that fire.
The Working on Fire organization hires and trains unemployed people. The first group of South African firefighters were deployed to the North American nation last week.
And in sports news, Minister of Sport Elvis Nkandu has sent off the Zambia Special Olympics national team for the Special Olympics World Games to be held in Berlin, Germany from the 17th to the 25th of June 2023. The minister says he expects the athletes to remain disciplined and perform to their best and win medals so that they can inspire other people to take part in sports. He says the government is also happy to see persons with disability participating in Olympics. He says government will continue to support sportsmen and women in the country, as well as improve their pay in order to motivate them to work hard. Meanwhile, 9 athletes with special needs are part of the delegation that has left for Germany.
Gentlemen, allow me to take this opportunity to wish this team going to represent Zambia in the Special Olympics Committee tournament in Germany the best of luck. Indeed, you'll be representing Zambia at this prestigious tournament, and therefore you will be required to be exemplary and underline that. And therefore you will be required to be, as I said, exemplary and obviously in your performance, and put Zambia on the map as a country that has not only been the best behaved players, but also winners. So I expect you to go and win. We are not sending you for a holiday. We are sending you to go and win so that we are motivated as government even to send a larger delegation next time. So the honors is on yourselves to make us proud, to make sure that we believe in you, so that next time we'll not be able to debate about how many people, how many athletes we'll be sending. We'll just be saying, PS, please facilitate their outing. That way, because you would have reciprocated the commitment of the ministry.
To end the midday news, let's take a look at the stories that made the headlines. PF presidential hopeful Emmanuel Mwamba arrested. 15-year-old grade 9 pupil of Lusaka's Kanyama compound defiled and impregnated. In international news, Kenya's Sakahola count deaths climbed to 303. In sports news, Zambia's Special Olympics team leaves for Germany. And before we go, we now look at the Camnet verse of the day coming from the book of Ephesians chapter 5 verse 25, which says, "Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." That's it. That's all we had for the news at 12. Don't forget to join us for another bulletin at exactly 19:30 this evening. But don't go away, because up next is the Lunch Cafe.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Akora kansheko alakula chancha mukero kula chekerera ucho mwana nanyina ngada babutuka uwinge wo munampati kasambenani ingatamwishibe bekani twipushe bana fya sasa ushe umwana nanyina ingana babutuka uwinge wo munampati kasambenani mwe ipushe yi ipushe nyabo mwikere nabo.
Thank you very much for joining us for another exciting edition of the Lunch Cafe on Camnet TV. My name is Marco Kwakozi. You are watching us live on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and on Topstar we are on channel 106. Those are the platforms you can catch us on. But also remember that we are live on our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV. So go to that particular page, like it. If you are watching us on Facebook, go to the comment section and leave a comment there about what we are discussing today. We'll be more than happy to see what you think about the issues that we are going to be looking at this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Now remember that this program comes to you every Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays at exactly 12 hours. We start with our news at 12, then we get into emerging stories where we give you ideas of what we expect to have in our 1930 menus each and every day. And later on we get into the next segment, which is the Forgotten Stories segment. On that particular segment, we bring to you stories that happened, that made the headlines some 2 or 3 years ago, just to refresh your memories. And then we go to the next segment, which is the viewers' reactions, just to get your reactions as viewers as regards what we are looking at on that particular day. So that is the lunch cafe for you, and that is how we give you our lunch here on the lunch cafe. But before we get into the details of today's program, let's take a short break. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Emerging Stories segment. Now, this is a segment, as I said earlier on, that gives you an idea of what is happening around us and the stories that we expect to have on our 1930 menus tonight. And today we have interesting stories that we do expect to make the cut during the 1930 menus. We start with a story that talks about the International Day of the African Child, and it says Break Free Program Regional Coordinator Hambwega Monkombwe and a youth officer on the Break Free Program Ngandwe Ngandwe welcome the Day of the African Child in 2023, which is running under the theme, The Right of the Child in the Digital Environment. This day falls on the 16th of June every year. Let's have a look at this.
With the theme basically on the rights of children on the digital world. I think it comes in very handy for us in Break Free, especially because you see the digital space now is mostly being used for lots of things. There's a lot of misinformation on the digital platform, but also we can use that platform for us to engage with children, but for us also to communicate with children in the right way. And as a Break Free, we are using a platform called the Youth Wise platform, which is a digital platform. This platform is, of course, is a birth of SAT, which is the partner organization for the Break Free project. And in this digital platform, we are using it basically to ensure that we are sending out information on SRHR, which is correct. Also making sure that we are educating the young people in a more interactive way, and which is a correct education and also age-appropriate education. So I think we welcome this theme as a program to ensure that we are able to deliver the messages to the world, and also most important to the young people in terms of on their rights, basically in general terms, but also their right to digital platforms. I think they have a right to the information on the digital platform. We know that the access to the digital platform for young people is hindered in most cases because of to do with the resources. Especially most of young people are in the rural settings where this digital platform is not available, and we encourage players in this sphere of SRHR to ensure that we try by all means to ensure that we balance in terms of how young people are getting this information. We know that the young people who are in urban areas are more advantaged, so we also want to try to make sure that those in the rural areas also have access. So we call upon the world leaders to ensure that the resources are available. It could be just issues to do with networks. For instance, in some areas there are no networks, even when young people could have a gadget, but there's no network to ensure that they're getting that in. So we are calling the world, especially in the countries where Break Free is implementing, to ensure that the resources.
This year we are very excited that the Day of an African Child has been commemorated collaborate, and of course the theme being around something that's very close to us as an organization, being around digital spaces. So as an organization within the Break Free program, we're rolling out something called YouthWise, which is a digital innovation tool that is meant to increase access to sexual reproductive health, education, information, counseling and services for young people. So through this particular platform, what we're doing is we're mobilizing young people so that they can have access to a lot of information with regards to their health, and of course access to services within their communities. So we're very excited that this theme has come around because it gives us an opportunity to sort of bring our heads together as an organization, but also with the partners we're working with, especially the Ministry of Health, to make sure that we operationalize the idea of young people using digital spaces to enhance access to health education. It also gives us an opportunity to call upon governments, not just in Zambia, but also across Africa and within the breakthrough countries that we're working in, to increase resource allocation, to making sure that they invest in technology so that young people have more access to health education, because it's not enough to create small spaces, to create corners in health facilities where young people have access to services. The internet has provided a platform for us to leverage and also for us to be able to easily mobilize young people. So this year is about calling upon governments to act and to also make sure that young people also have a sense of agency, to have access to anything around their health, because we understand that the health of young people today determine how productive we are, not only as a country but as a continent. So we're very excited about this year's commemoration.
So that is our first story on our Emerging Stories segment, and it is talking about the Day of the African Child, which falls on the 16th of June every year. So moving on, another story that we expect to feature in our news this evening says the government has dispelled social media reports indicating that it has acquired a loan from the World Bank to double the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. There have been social media reports circulating and misrepresenting facts on the aim and the objective of the World Bank supported Zambia Devolution Support Program, ZDSP. Now, according to a statement made available to Camnet News, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary for Administration, Hamangu, has clarified that the ZDSP is a government program supported by the World Bank in the form of a concessional loan of about 210 million United States dollars, aimed at supporting the components of decentralization. Now, Mr. Hamaundu states that the objective of ZDSP through the concessional loan is to strengthen the financing and institutional performance and accountability of local authorities in the rural parts of Zambia. So that's another story that we expect to make the cut on our 19 hours menus tonight, and it's talking about the 210 million United States dollar loan from the World Bank, which is a concessional loan that helps in decentralization. So moving on, another story that we do expect to make the headlines tonight in our news is that of the former the aspiring PF presidential hopeful Emmanuel Mwamba, who has been arrested by the police. And now this story says that Opposition Patriotic Front presidential hopeful Emmanuel Mwamba is actually detained at Emmersdale police station. Now, Mr. Mwamba, who was apprehended on Wednesday, is yet to be officially arrested and charged. Lawyers representing Mr. Mwamba are currently at the police station. Now, the Zambia Police Public Relations Unit confirmed apprehending Mr. Mwamba, but that details will be given later. So we do hope that by the time we will be airing our main news. Details will have been given as regards the arrest of the PF presidential hopeful Emmanuel Mwamba, who we have learnt now that is detained at Emmarsdale police station, because by broadcast time yesterday there was no information as regards to where he was being held after word went round that he had been apprehended. So details of this particular story will come in at 19:30, and we will have to hear from the police as to what the charge is following the arrest of Emmanuel Mwamba. So that's another story that we expect to make the cut on the 19:30 main news. Now, these are the stories on our Emerging Stories segment. We did look at a story that spoke about the Day of the African Child, and we also looked at a story that talked about the local government, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, and the concessional loan from the World Bank. And we also looked at a story pertaining to the apprehension of the PF presidential hopeful Emmanuel Mwamba, who we are told is at the Emmarsdale police station, but police have not yet told us as to why they apprehended Mr. Mwamba. We do hope that by the time we'll be airing the 19 hours news, we are going to be having all those details to let you in. So make sure that you tune in at 19:30 to get the details of this particular story. On that note, let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be getting into the next segment. Welcome back. You are still watching the Lunchtime Cafe on Camnet TV. This is a program that comes to you every day except Fridays from about 12 hours to 14 hours. This is a program that aims at giving you information as relating to current affairs in our country. Now, this is the Forgotten Stories segment. Now, on this segment, we take you back into time just to look at some of the stories that were making the headline on this day some 2-3 years ago. And we start from the year 2020. Now, in 2020, on this very day, a consortium of the clergy pledged to fully support the Bill 10. Let's have a look at this.
So much talk has been hovering around the amendment of the Constitution, which is Bill number 10. Some opposition political parties, such as the National Democratic Congress Party, NDC, and the Opposition United Party for National Development, UPND, have strongly campaigned against the passing of Bill number 10. Now, the NCCF, a consortium of clergy, has reaffirmed its strongest commitment in supporting the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill number 10 of 2019. To take you back, in September 2019, most stakeholders, including the church across the country, participated and made submissions to the Parliamentary Select Committee on the Constitution Amendment Process Bill 10. Key among other submissions was the declaration of Zambia as a Christian nation, morality and ethics that the clergy believes will form a foundation for the national identity and character. Now, addressing the media today, the 15th of June 2020, the NCCF, a consortium of the clergy, he says it will fully support the bill and has welcomed the Select Committee recommendations. Reverend Gibson Nyirenda, who is Vice Publicity Secretary, says withdrawing the bill at this stage is counterproductive and reckless.
The clergy also submitted on other contentious issues. We would therefore like to reaffirm our strongest commitment in supporting the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill number 10 of 2019, following government's commitment to heed people's views by welcoming the Select Committee recommendations as seen in the signing a gazette to accommodate the said recommendations from the report by the Select Committee. This further gives assurance to all stakeholders and well-meaning Zambians that this government is committed to see to it that the amendment of the Constitution is done with transparency and in a consultative manner aimed at meeting the aspirations of the majority Zambians.
The Reverend also added that the bill is a sign that government is committed to see to it that the amendment of the Constitution is done with transparency. Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
But a consortium of CSOs and some political parties had different feelings on the matter. Let's have a look at this.
Following the publication of the proposed changes to the bill, as provided by the Minister to our partner organizations that attended the press conference, the CSOs represented here carried out a preliminary review of the proposed changes, reading the shared document against the original Bill 10, the recommendations of the Select Committee, as well as the 2016 amendment of the Constitution. Our study of the document unfortunately revealed that the Minister was not being honest with the public on both the intentions and the content of the proposed changes to Bill 10. Our reading of the draft changes has sadly found that they maintain the unstated objective of Bill 10, which is to weaken Zambia's democracy and its vital institutions, especially Parliament. It is particularly disturbing to note that the proposed changes include new clauses which were not part of the original Bill 10 or the Select Committee resolutions. Many of these new changes are detrimental to democracy beyond the harm already proposed in Bill 10. We will only cite a few examples. On Parliament, the Minister makes the following changes that were not proposed by the Parliamentary Select Committee. Article 47 is amended to allow Parliament to prescribe how the mixed member electoral system will be implemented. That is to say, Parliament will decide how it will itself be elected and operate. On this, the Parliamentary Select Committee recommended that the mixed member system be indeed adopted for election to the National Assembly, but emphasized that this mixed member electoral system should be clearly defined in the Constitution and not an act of Parliament, as the Minister of Justice proposes.
Then his experience is very full. Because I, as I'm speaking now, I'm relying on the standing orders of the House. I've informed you that amendments can only be made at committee stage. You cannot move any amendments before committee stage.
United Party for National Development Monza Member of Parliament Jack Mwimbu has responded to the purported gazetting of the amendment of Bill number 10, which is being championed by Justice Minister Honorable Given Lubinda. UPND says the purported gazetting of the amendment of Bill number 10 is illegal and a breach of parliamentary procedures. Jack Mwimbu says the intention of this by Justice Minister Given Lubinda is to mislead Zambian citizens that parliamentary processes allow for a bill that is before the House to be amended in a manner that it is proposed in the Gazette.
Of all members of parliament, 2/3 of all members of parliament, this has not happened. We are meant to understand that this bill will be coming tomorrow for second reading. And very likely, this bill will not go through. So at what point did he get the authority to make an amendment? We have no doubt in our minds that the intention is to muzzle the deliberations by members of the public on this very important issue and mislead the public that Bill number 10 has been amended.
However, Honorable Jack Mwimbu further called on the general public not to be easily misled by Justice Minister Given Lubinda. Constance Mwemba, reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Now, in 2021, on this very day, the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, banned the Patriotic Front and the United Party for National Development, UPND, from campaigning in Lusaka, Mpulungu, Namwala, and Nakonde due to political violence. Now, the commission also banned all the roadshows from across the country to curb the transmission of the COVID-19. Let's have a look at this.
There is no time frame that has been provided to the suspension. I hope that is clear. Colleagues, I hope that is clear. The suspension is not for 14 days for the two political parties. What we are indicating that will be reviewed is the suspension after the 14 days. So after 14 days, the Commission will reconvene and look at the parameters of the suspension, and thereon we will decide whether to lift the suspension or not. And this will be done in view of the engagements that we will have with these political parties. The road shows as well, as it stands, there is no time frame now. They remain suspended, and we'll be observing as things evolve, and we'll be able to provide guidance. Like we had indicated when we suspended the rallies, this is dependent on how things are evolving, both in terms of the environment as well as the COVID-19 situation. But unfortunately, when you look at the cases with regards to COVID, the situation in the country is getting worse. So the status with regards to the rallies remains the same, and all those that have been going against this, please desist. There are a number of individuals that will be summoned in this regard that have been reported to the Commission, have been undertaken for conducting rallies. So please do abide and save the lives of the Zambian people. As a leader, I expected to take leadership in this regard, and you should not expect, it should not even be coming from the Commission to be policing our leaders, really. It's really unfortunate. It's an issue that we expect that the leaders themselves, who mean well for the Zambian people, who want to give hope to the Zambian people, should be at the same time be saving the lives of the very people that they're claiming to want to save. So it shouldn't be coming from the Commission where we start policing our leaders. It's extremely unfortunate and sad where we're seeing lives being lost, our hospitals being filled to capacity because of these activities. And I know that the Ministry of Health is also working on a number of other measures to safeguard the lives of our people. You cannot host, like I said, the only exemption is with regards to the adverts, because we know that these are being paid for and they go beyond jurisdiction, but you cannot host them in Lusaka because this is a jurisdiction that has been suspended. So you cannot feature on your different platforms. please take heed.
And in a quest to end political violence, the Council of Churches in Zambia had launched a project called Youth Against Political Violence. Let's have a look at this.
The call to ending political violence is becoming louder as various stakeholders have developed interest in ending the bloodshed, which has continued to be witnessed as August draws to a close. While the majority of registered voters are youths, it is saddening to note that they have continue to be used as tools of political violence, while the people they are fighting for are safe in their luxurious homes. It is the more reason why the Council of Churches in Zambia has joined the call to ending political violence by launching a Youth Against Political Violence project under the theme, "Let us have a free and violent election." Speaking at the launch in Lusaka Tuesday morning, CCZ General Secretary Father Emmanuel Chukoya has wondered why youths are using to butcher each other and not ideologies that will develop this great country.
Awareness, why the young people want to help them realize there's much more to life. There's much more to their being young people than that tin of chibuku, than that 50 kwacha, than whatever they are given and then unleashed to maim other fellow Zambians. So we would like to create and raise awareness around the dangers of political violence. It has a potential of totally changing this country from a beacon of hope into a place where there's chaos and disorder. We don't want that.
Meanwhile, CCZ President Reverend Saros Mpaika says the council will not rest until all perpetuators of political violence get to hear the message of peace before the general election.
We need to begin to preach what is the truth and the reality. No one will ever bring food to your doorstep. You really need to work for that. I am a minister, I have a congregation, but I should tell you that I have also a farm where I am doing what everyone is doing, because I know at the end of it all, what life do I want to live? These elections come and go, but we have a life to live.
And Frederick Hilbert, Steve Tang Program Manager Vincent Chipata has pledged commitment to support the end of political violence, saying violence has no place in Zambia and that it should not be allowed to escalate.
This project is associated with ensuring that we hold the election in a peaceful environment, violence-free, which shall make Zambia achieve solidarity, equality, and also social justice. These are the ingredients.
The project could not have come at a better time than this, when there is actually a growing evidence that young people are not adequately utilized within political parties to talk about, say, issues that affect them, talk about their manifestos, and instead they are on the battlefront fighting.
The Council of Churches says the planned activities of the proposed project will be conducted in all 4 provincial conferences and 1 national conference targeting youths in political parties and stakeholders. Together, political violence can be defeated. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
So thank you very much. So those are some of the stories that were happening in the year 2020 and 2021, and we just thought of refreshing your memories as regards what transpired during those particular days. So this is the segment we call the Forgotten Stories segment, just to remind us of where we are coming from. Now, moving on, we will be getting into the next segment, which is the viewers' reactions, where we give you an opportunity to get in touch with us. But before we do that, let's take a short break, and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back. And now this is what we call the viewers' reactions segment. Now on this segment, we give you an opportunity to get to call us or communicate with us via our social media page, which is Camnet TV. Go to this particular broadcast on that particular page. Go to the comment sections and leave your comments there to make your contribution as regards what we are discussing today. And we are looking at quite a number of stories. We got some stories from our forgotten stories section, the forgotten stories basket, and also we had our emerging stories. Stories that we hope will make the cut in our 1930 news this particular afternoon. So you can go to our Facebook page, Camnet TV, and then go to the comment section of this particular broadcast and leave your comments, contributions on that particular page, or you can alternatively call us on the numbers that are on your screens, and that's 0973 167840, 0967 7840 is the number if you want to get in touch with us. Alternatively, you can call us on 0968 675 That's 0968 675273. So you can call those particular numbers if you want to make a voice call and talk to us live on Camnet TV. However, if you have messages or WhatsApp messages, you can send them to 0962 444 726. That's only strictly for messages and WhatsApp messages. You can send those messages to 0962 444 726. That's strictly for messages only. Now, for those of you that want to make the voice call, the numbers are on your screens. You can call us on those particular numbers so that we get in touch with us and we get to hear what you think about what we are looking at on this particular day. On our social media page, you can go to Facebook, go to Camnet TV, and then follow this particular page. Go to this particular live broadcast and then leave your comments there. As Christopher Kambwera, who is saying he's watching us from Zimba. Thank you very much, Christopher. We appreciate the fact that you've chosen channel 274 on DSTV and this particular Facebook page to make your comment. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please go ahead, sir, and give us your comment on any of the stories. Hello? Hello? Oh, unfortunately, we have lost connection with that particular caller. You can also call us on 0973 167840, or alternatively, you can call 0968 675273. Those are the numbers that you can call us on. Gordon Zangi says he's watching from Kitwe. Thank you very much, Gordon. We appreciate the fact that you are watching us live on Facebook. And then we have also Inoman, who says, good afternoon, Ankoma Kokwa, watching you from Kitwe, Kamitondo. Thank you very much, Inoman. We appreciate that you're watching us from Kamitondo on the Copper Belt. And then Joe Piri says, good work. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Joe. You can also go to our Facebook page and leave your comments there as regards what we are discussing this particular afternoon, the stories that we have shared. What do you make of them? We did have some stories from our forgotten stories section. We have a call on that. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Unfortunately, we lost connection with that particular call. You can try again on 0973167840, 0973167840 is the number if you want to get in touch with us and make that contribution. Also, you can call us on 0968 675273. That's the number you can call And also, if you want to send your messages, you can send them to 0962 444 726. So those are the numbers that you can call or send your messages to if you want to get in touch with us. We are watching a live broadcast of the Lunch Cafe on Camnet TV, and we have quite a number of stories, and this is now the viewers' reactions, where we give you an opportunity to call us and give us your views on what we are looking at this beautiful afternoon. Now, this is a program that comes to you every Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays at exactly 12 hours, just to keep you updated with what is happening around us, and also making sure that you are up to date as regards current affairs. Now, we did look at some stories that are emerging, stories that we are expecting to make the news at 19:30 this evening. That story, one of those stories, is that of the Day of the African Child, and many other stories. We do have another caller, do we? Hello, good afternoon. Unfortunately, we lost that particular call. I was saying this Day of the African Child, which falls tomorrow. We do expect a detailed story on that particular matter, and also we do expect another story as regards the arrest, the apprehension of Opposition Patriotic Front presidential hopeful Emmanuel Mwamba, who we hear is detained at the Emmersdale police station. We expect to hear the details of that particular story also at 19:30, and also we do have another story where government has refuted allegations that they have gotten another loan to top up on the CDF. We have a caller. Hello, good afternoon. Unfortunately, we have lost that particular call again, but keep on trying. Alternatively, you can go to our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV, and leave your comments on that particular page. We are going to ensure that we try and read all the messages that come through on that particular page, which is Camnet TV. Go to that particular page and leave your contributions there. We'll be glad to have a look at what you think. Also, you can send your WhatsApp messages to 0962 444 726. That's 0962 444 726. That's strictly for your messages and WhatsApp messages only. So you can call us on the numbers that are on the screen for you to give us your thought on what we are looking at this beautiful Thursday afternoon. This is the Lunch Cafe on Camnet TV. Now remember that we are broadcasting live on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and channel 103 on Top Star. Also, we are live on our Facebook page, Camnet TV, and also on our YouTube channel. We are live. That's Camnet TV as well. So those are the social media handles if you want to get in touch with us via social media. So some of the stories that we are looking at this afternoon include those include one from the Break Free program regional coordinator Hambweka Munkombwe, who has welcomed the Day of the African Child. And also we have another story that pertains to the apprehension of Emmanuel Mwamba, who is a PF presidential hopeful. And we do expect by 19:30 to have the details on that particular story and the other stories. Also, we did look at some stories that were making the headlines those days. We did look at the issue of Bill 10, and we did also look at the issue of political violence and the effects it had on the citizens in the country. So before we go ahead with picking your calls, let's have a look again at the story where Break Free program regional coordinator Hambweka Munkombwe and a youth officer on the Break Free program, Ngandwe, welcomed the Day of the African Child 2023, which is running under the theme on the rights of the child in the digital environment. This day falls on the 16th of June every year. Let's have a look at this clip.
The theme basically on the rights of children on the digital world. I think it comes in very handy for us in Break Free especially because you see the digital space now is mostly being used for lots of things. There's a lot of misinformation on the digital platform, but also we can use that platform for us to engage with children, but for us also to communicate with children in the right way. And as a Break Free, we are using a platform called the Youth Wise platform, which is a digital platform. This platform is, of course, is a birth of SAT, which is the partner organization for the Break Free project. And in this digital platform, we are using it basically to ensure that we are sending out information on SRHR, which is correct. Also making sure that we are educating the young people in a more interactive way, and which is a correct education and also age appropriate education. So I think we welcome this theme as a program to ensure that we are able to deliver the messages to the world, and also most important to the young people in terms of on their rights, basically in general terms, but also their right to digital platforms. I think they have a right to the information on the digital platform. We know that the access to the digital platform for young people is hindered in most cases because of to do with the resources. Especially most of the young people are in the rural settings where this digital platform is not available, and we encourage players in this sphere of SRHR to ensure that we try by all means to ensure that we balance in terms of how young people are getting this information. We know that the young people who are in urban areas are more advantaged, so we also want to try to make sure that those in the rural areas also have access. So we call upon the world leaders to ensure that the resources are available. It could be just issues to do with networks. For instance, in some areas there are no networks, even when young people could have a gadget, but there's no network to ensure that they're getting that in. So we are calling the world, especially in the countries where Break Free is implementing, to ensure that the resources.
This year we are very excited that the Day of an African Child is being commemorated. And of course the theme being around something that's very close to us as an organization, being around digital spaces. So as an organization within the Break Free program, we're rolling out something called Youth Wise, which is a digital innovation tool that is meant to increase access to sexual reproductive health, education, information, counseling and services for young people. So through this particular platform, what we're doing is we're mobilizing young people so that they can have access to a lot of information with regards to their health, and of course access to services within their communities. So we're very excited that this theme has come around because it gives us an opportunity to sort of bring our heads together as an organization, but also with the partners we're working with, especially the Ministry of Health, to make sure that we operationalize the idea of people using digital spaces to enhance access to health education. It also gives us an opportunity to call upon governments, not just in Zambia but also across Africa and within the Break Free countries that we're working in, to increase resource allocation, to making sure that they invest in technology so that young people have more access to health education, because it's not enough to create small spaces, to create corners in health facilities where young people have access to services. The internet has provided a platform for us to leverage and also for us to be able to easily mobilize young people. So this year is about calling upon action, calling upon governments to act and to also make sure that young people also have a sense of agency, to have access to anything around their health, because we understand that the health of young people today determine how productive we are, not only as a country but as a continent. So we're very excited about this year's commemoration.
So much talk has been hovering around the amendment of the Constitution, which is Bill number 10. Some opposition political parties, such as the National Democratic Congress Party (NDC) and the opposition United Party for National Development (UPND), have strongly campaigned against the passing of Bill number 10. Now, the NCCF, a consortium of clergy, has reaffirmed its strongest commitment in supporting the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill number 10 of 2019. To take you back, in September 2019, most stakeholders, including the church across the country, participated and made submissions to the Parliamentary Select Committee on the Constitution Amendment Process Bill 10. Key to the clergy, among other submissions, was the declaration of Zambia as a Christian nation, morality and ethics that the clergy believes will form a foundation for the national identity and character. Now, addressing the media today, the 15th of June 2020, the NCCF, a consortium of the clergy, he says it will fully support the bill and has welcomed the select committee recommendations. Reverend Gibson Nyirenda, who is Vice Publicity Secretary, says withdrawing the bill at this stage is counterproductive and reckless.
The clergy also submitted on other contentious issues. We would therefore like to reaffirm our strongest commitment in supporting the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill number 10 of 2019, following government's commitment to heed people's views by welcoming the Select Committee recommendations as seen in the signing a gazette to accommodate the said recommendations from the report by the Select Committee. This further gives assurance to all stakeholders and well-meaning Zambians that this government is committed to see to it that the amendment of the Constitution is done with transparency and in a consultative manner aimed at meeting the aspirations of the majority Zambians.
The Reverend also added that the bill is a sign that government is committed to see to it that the amendment of the Constitution is done with transparency. Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Thank you very much. So those are some of the stories that we are looking at this particular afternoon, and they are from the Forgotten Stories basket and also the Emerging Stories. And we are now taking in your calls on the numbers that are on your screens for you to give us your thoughts on those particular issues that we are looking at this afternoon. The numbers are 0973167840, 0973167840, and alternatively you can call us on 0968 0968675273. That's 0968675273. And also you can send your messages to 0962 444 726. That's 0962 444 726. Those are the contact lines if you want to get in touch with us and tell us what you think about what we are looking at this afternoon. And also you can go to our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV. Go to this particular broadcast and then go to the comments section and leave your comments there. We'll be more than happy to have a look at what you think also on the topics that we are looking at this particular afternoon. Now, the stories we did look at on the emerging stories included one for the Day of the African Child, which falls on the 16th of June, and the other one, which is tomorrow, and the other one, we did look at a story that talks about the arrest, the apprehension of Patriotic Front presidential hopeful Emmanuel Mwamba, who is detained at the Emersdale police station here in Lusaka. And we also did look at another story that talks about the concessional loan that the Ministry of Local Government has. So those are some of the stories that we are looking at and we expect to make to be in our menus at 19:30. And also we have stories from the forgotten stories which made headlines some few years ago. We did have a story as regards political violence and a story on butane. We do have a caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, let's quickly look at some of the stories, the messages that have come through. This one says, good afternoon, Woma Kokwa. I am watching your Forgotten Stories program on Camnet TV. I am enjoying the program. It is important to look back and remind ourselves of where we came from. We cannot run away from history. Malena Lubinda. Thank you very much, Malena, for that particular message. We do appreciate that particular text just to hear your thought as well. So if you want also to contribute on this particular program, the numbers are on your screens. But remember that the 0962 444 726 is strictly for messages only. You can send a WhatsApp message or a conventional text message on that particular line, and the other lines you can use for calls. The MTN line, you can however use it for your voice notes on MTN, on WhatsApp as well. We do have another caller. Hello? Okay, moving on, we seem to not to have that particular call. Moving on, this is the lunch cafe on Camnet TV, and this has been the first reaction, where we did expect to get your views on the stories that we were looking at. But on that note, we seem to be running out of time and we have to leave. And don't forget that we will be back again next Monday right here at 12 hours to give you more of current affairs and of course what is happening around us. So on behalf of the entire production team, have a blessed Thursday afternoon.